due to the effects of this materialistic society and the influence of TV shows and Hollywood and Bollywood and social media, disrespecting the parents has become normal. It's become normal for an individual to tell their parents to mind their own business. It's become normal for an individual to answer back to their parents. It's become normal for an individual to ignore the presence of their parents. The parents are sitting on one side and we're busy on our mobile phones and our laptops and our devices. It's become normal for an individual to dismiss the opinions and the suggestions of their parents as if they don't know anything just because we have a few degrees, not realizing the spiritual damage that we're inflicting on ourselves through these thoughts and these actions. And when we die and the veils are lifted from our eyes, فَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ فَبَصَّرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ, your vision is piercing sharp on that day. Then we'll realize the effects that these sins and these actions had, that these thoughts and these actions had. May Allah have mercy on Ayatollah Jamaluddin Ghulberani. Ayatollah Jamaluddin Ghulberani was from our greats, a great arif, a great faqih, a great mujtahid. He says that one day I was sitting in the graveyard of Takht Fulad in Isfahan. In Isfahan there's a graveyard called Takht Fulad. It's often known as Wadi al-Salam al-Thani, the second Wadi al-Salam from Najaf, because of the awliya Allah buried in that graveyard. He says I was sitting there and the people brought in the body and the mayyat of a youth. There were many people participating. And I could see that pious individuals are present in this funeral. So I said to myself that this isn't a normal youth. And they came to me and they asked me, Agha, you're here, can you come and help in the burial procedure, in the burial rites? So I said, sure. We lowered the body in the grave. I myself entered into the grave. And he said, I started to recite the talqeen. As soon as I got to the point of saying, Afahimta, do you understand? I heard the youth say no from the barzakhi realm. So I was shocked at this. I said, what is this? And to add to my amazement, inside the grave, I saw 2 or 3 shaitans dancing and laughing in the grave. So I said, this can't be right. What's going on here? Ayatollah Jamaluddin Ghulberani comes out of the grave. He asks, the first question he asks, are the parents of this child alive? They say the mother is over there crying out of the separation. The father is here. He takes the father to a corner and he asks him, this is what I've seen inside the grave. Tell me about your son. He says, my son was a good individual. He was a pious individual. But recently he had started to go to the mosque, the majlis, the masjid, recite namaz and recite majalis himself. And he had started to read a few Islamic books and this and that. And because of this, a little bit of arrogance had entered into his heart. And whenever I would suggest something to him or give him an opinion, he'd tell me, what do you know? You don't know anything. And this really broke my heart. After Jamaluddin Ghulberani says, this is it. Forgive your son. He says, I've forgiven my son. He says, no, say it with your tongue that you've forgiven him. The father says it with his tongue. Ayatollah Jamaluddin Ghulberani enters into the grave again. And he says that this time, as soon as I got to the point of saying, Afahimta, I saw that there was a smile on his face. And a little while later, I saw Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. And I saw Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib and the close angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enter into the grave. And the Imam told me from this point onwards, this youth is with me. This small mistake, we do things much worse than this. Much worse than this. Imagine what imagine if Ayatollah Jamaluddin Ghulberani was not there.